All right, welcome back to the Mentis podcast. Today we have Jim Lee with Formosa Investing. Jim, I appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks for having me on the show, Nick. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, well, right off the gate, I think your background starting in kind of sales for LoopNet and Costar, which are very large data companies for real estate investors. I think you have a rich background. Maybe maybe you're a little bit closer to it than even maybe an analyst who uses it all the time. Could you maybe give us a little bit of an understanding of how important it is to really be up to speed with using those tools, and what kind of advantages those who are able to use that information are able to get compared to those who don't have it?
Absolutely. So my background is I graduated with an economics degree with UCLA back in 2010. So this, as you may know, that's back in right after the 2008 subprime mortgage crash, and on top of that, 2010 European debt crisis. It was really difficult for me to find a job right out of the college. So I was actually jobless for a while until I got really good at selling myself, landing me an inside role at working at LoopNet and Costar. Now, like you said, for those that don't know about LoopNet, it's basically Zillow for commercial real estate. I was able to speak to real estate investors, lenders, property managers on a daily basis, and I learned the importance of having multiple stream of income by speaking to them. And the importance of having this data is that you see the power that, just like when you buy regular real estate residential, everybody goes online on Zillow to search for property facts, sales comparables, and ultimately that's what most of these real estate investors, agents, lenders use Costar for. It's for the data. It's all the data that they have, the sales comparables, the facts. They have about, I think, a belief about over 1,000 employees just going out there driving, looking for data, verifying all the facts. And typically they do it by regions. So they have a specific team for every city and every markets. So they provide pretty much all the commercial real estate data you need. And they've also bought all these other commercial real estate companies over, like LoopNet. When I started at LoopNet, they were trying to sue LoopNet, but then they decided to just, buy them out. And then they essentially bought apartments.com as well. So they have pretty much all the data, all the commercial real estate data that you need, pretty much all aggregated in Costar.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive company. I mean, not only do they have the 1,000 people who are out in the field verifying that the information is correct, but I think where they really stand out is they've really tapped into the property management software. So they're pulling it in real time from the property management software and presenting it to the people who are looking for the data. So you can see what occupancy rates are. You can see what real time, the eviction timelines, all of it is right there. And it allows people to make really informed decisions on markets and which properties to purchase. In fact, I would say it's at the point where appraisers are starting to really almost look at their information to start evaluating the deal. And I think that I could be, I don't want to offend any other software out there, but it is starting to become kind of known as best in class. And for that though, it's not cheap. I mean, can you kind of give us an idea? I mean, if I recall, it's about $35,000 a desk for the full nation. Or it might be a little bit more now, and it was a little bit cheaper if you pick a specific market. And do you remember any of those kind of basic pricing models?
Yeah, you're around the ballpark range. I believe now it's about 40 to 50,000 for the statewide. I personally just subscribe just for one market, which is it cuts down the cost, but it's still very expensive. And typically, for to be able to subscribe their service, you have to really be doing this full time, or else it wouldn't be worthwhile. I was able to join forces with a real estate firm where they just offer a complete package for the whole office. So I think that's a good route I would recommend to start off. It's just tough to be able to add that kind of cost to your business.
And I think that kind of speaks to the people who are doing this full time, and that a lot of their their decisions are not, on a whim, that, it's not something you just kind of, kind of pick up and do on the side. I mean, some people obviously are very successful with like smaller investments and doing them on the side. But if you're doing large investments and bringing in a lot of money from other people, it's good to know that they're able to use some of the tools that aren't available to kind of your mom and pop real estate, investors. So
Absolutely.
anyhow, I appreciate you kind of unpacking that a little bit.
Mhm.
Now, you said you're investing in one market, or you have that access for one market. Can you maybe tell us what that is and why that particular market?
Yeah, so I chose to pick the market Florida. So as you may know that as a real estate investor, we always have to look at where the migration pattern is, right? That's the most important piece of the component, is where the population growth is and happening. And I picked Florida because we got a lot of California people moving to Florida. On top of that, all the New York people are also moving out there as well. So it was no brainer for me. I subscribe to that market. And I also have some boots on the ground team set up out there in Jacksonville and Orlando. So it's like you said, it's a tool it's needed if I am going to have establish more just get more data out of Florida. So because I live in California, so I do travel there every once in a while, but just having CoStar, it helps a lot.
Oh, no doubt.
Mhm.
You're kind of talking about the macro, elements of real estate investing, and certainly population growth is, if not one of the most important, it is going to be ranked in the top 5 as one of the most important things for any real estate investor, if they're looking to be in development, or if they're looking to just kind of realize some really large, maybe outsized returns. And certainly the Sun Belt fits that right now. So you're seeing, even all the way over in Arizona with Phoenix, and then you have Texas, and then Florida, of course, North and South Carolina, and Nashville is, booming. And then you're seeing markets like Huntsville, Alabama, also starting to see a lot of this institutional capital. But how did you pick Jacksonville? Obviously, it's a great market, but could you maybe, with your local expertise, tell us a little bit more about Jacksonville and Orlando?
Yeah, sure. So ultimately,